Today I am going to read Surah Al-Kahf, the cave, if Allah wills. Surah Al-Kahf is 18 number surah of the Holy Quran. Rabbi a'udhu bika min hamazati shayatin wa a'udhu bika Rabbi an yahdurun. My Lord, I seek refuge in you from the temptations of the shaitans, and I seek refuge in you, my Lord, lest they be present with me. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. All praise is for Allah, the one who has revealed the book to his slave and has not placed therein any crookedness, straight to warn of a severe punishment from him, and to give glad tidings to the believers who do righteous deeds, that for them is a good reward. They will abide in it forever. And to warn those who say, Allah has taken a son. They do not have any knowledge about it, nor had their fathers. Grave is the word that comes out of their mouths. Nothing they say save a lie. Then perhaps you would kill yourself in grief over them, if they do not believe in this narration. Indeed, we have made that which is on the earth as adornment for it, that we may test which of them is best in deeds. And indeed, we will make what is on it a barren ground. Or you think that the companions of the cave and the inscription were wonders among our signs, when the youths retreated to the cave and said, Our Lord, grant on us mercy from yourself, and facilitate for us our affair in the right way. Repeat verse 10. When the youths retreated to the cave and said, Our Lord, grant on us mercy from yourself, and facilitate for us our affair in the right way. Then we cast over their ears in the cave for a number of years. Then we awakened them, that we make evident which of the two parties was best at calculating the time they had remained. We narrate to you their story in truth. Indeed, they were youths who believed in their Lord, and we increased them in guidance. And we made firm their hearts when they stood up and said, "Our Lord is the Lord of the heavens and the earth. We will never invoke besides Him any other. Surely, if we did, we would have then uttered an enormity. These our people have taken obeys besides Him. Why do they not come to them with a clear authority? And who is more wrong than the one who invents a lie against Allah? And when you withdraw from them, and that who is they worship besides Allah, then retreat to the cave. Your Lord will spread for you of His mercy, and will facilitate for you your affair in ease. And you might have seen the sun when it rose, inclining away from their cave on the right, and when it set, passing away from them on the left, while they lay in an open space thereof. That was from the signs of Allah. He whom Allah guides is the guided one, and he whom He lets go astray, never will you find for him a protecting guide. And you would think them awake while they were asleep, and we turned them to the right and to the left, while their dog strayed stretched his forelegs at the entrance. Repeat. And we turned them to the right and to the left, while their dog stretched his forelegs at the entrance. If you had looked at them, surely you would have turned back from them in flight, and would have been filled by them with terror. And similarly, we awakened them that they might question one another. Said a speaker among them, "How long have you remained?" They said, "We have remained a day, or a part of a day." They said, "Your Lord knows best how long you remained. So send one of you with this silver coin of yours to the city, and let him see which food is purest there, and bring to you provision from it, and let him be cautious, and let no one be aware about you." Indeed, if they come to know about you, they will stone you or return you to their religion. Then never will you succeed ever. And this way we made known about them, that they might know that the promise of Allah is true, and that there is no doubt about the hour. When they disputed among themselves about their affair, and said, construct over them a structure. Their Lord knows best about them, said those who prevailed in their matter. Surely we will take over them a place of worship, and they say they were three. Repeat verse 22. They say they were three, the fourth of them being their dog, and they say they were five, the sixth of them being their dog, guessing about the unseen. And they say they were seven, and the eighth of them was their dog. Say, my Lord knows best their number. None knows save a few. So do not argue about them save with an obvious argument, and do not inquire about them from anyone, and not say about anything, indeed I will do that tomorrow, save if Allah wills. And remember your Lord when you forget and say, perhaps my Lord will guide me. To a nearer way than this right way. And they remained in their cave for 300 years, and add 3, and add 9. Repeat. And they remained in their cave for 300 years, and add 9. Say, Allah knows best how long they remained. He has the unseen of the heavens and the earth. How clearly He sees, and how clearly He hears. They do not have besides Him any protector, and He does not share His command with anyone. And recite what has been revealed to you of the book of your Lord. None can change His words, and never will you find a refuge besides Him. And keep yourself patient with those who call their Lord in the morning and the evening, desiring his face, and let not your eyes pass beyond them, desiring adornment of the worldly life, and do not obey one whose heart we have made heedless of our remembrance, and who follows his desires, and whose affair has gone beyond all bounds. And say, the truth is from your Lord. So, whoever wills, let him believe, and whoever wills, let him disbelieve. Indeed, we have prepared for the wrongdoers a fire whose walls will surround them, and if they call for relief, they will be relieved with water like molten brass, which will scald the faces. Rest is the drink, and evil is the resting place. Madallah, I refuse to Allah. Indeed, those who believe and do good deeds, indeed, we will not let go waste the reward of anyone who does good deeds. Those will have gardens of Eden through which rivers flow. They will be adorned therein with bracelets of gold, and will wear green garments of fine silk and heavy brocade, reclining therein on adorned couches. Excellent is the reward, and good is the resting place. And set forth to them the example of two men. We provided for one of them 2 gardens of grapes, and we watered them with date palms and placed crops between them. Each of the 2 gardens brought forth its produce and did not fail short thereof in anything, and we caused to gush forth within them a river. And he had fruit. So he said to his companion while he was talking with him, I am greater than you in wealth and a stronger man. And he entered his garden while he was unjust to himself. He said, I do not think that this will ever perish. And I do not think the hour will occur, and even if I am brought back to my Lord, I will surely find better than this as a return. His companion said to him while he was talking with him, Do you disbelieve in one who created you from dust, then from a minute quantity of semen, then fashioned you into a man? But as for me, He is Allah, my Lord, and I do not associate anyone with my Lord. And why did you not say when you entered your garden, What Allah wills? There is no power save with Allah, although you see me less than you in wealth and children. It may be that my Lord will give me better than your garden, and will send upon it a calamity from the sky, and it will become a slippery ground. Or its water will become sunken into the earth, so you would never be able to find it. And his fruits were surrounded by ruin. Repeat. And his fruit were surrounded, so he began twisting his hands over what he had spent. He had spent on it. I repeat the verse 42. And his fruits were surrounded, so he began twisting his hands over what he had spent on it, while it had collapsed upon its trellises. And he said, "Oh, I wish I had not associated anyone with my Lord." And he had no group to help him other than Allah, nor he was supported. There the protection is only from Allah. Repeat. There the protection is only from Allah, the true. He is the best to reward and the best for the final end. And present to them the example of the life of this world, like the water. Repeat. And present to them the example of the life of this world. It is like the water which we send down from the sky. Then the vegetation of the earth mingles with it. Then it becomes dry stalk, which are scattered by the winds. And Allah is able to do all things. Wealth and children are the adornment of the life of this world, but the enduring good deeds are better in the sight of your Lord for reward, and better in respect of hope. And they say, we will cause the mountains. Repeat. And the day we will cause the mountains to move, and you will see the earth as a leveled plain, and we will gather them, and we will not leave behind anyone from them. And they will be presented before your Lord in rows, and he will say, "Certainly you have come to us just as we created you the first time. Nay, you claimed that we had not. Made for you an appointment." And the book will be placed, and the book will be placed, and you will see the criminals fearful of what is in it, and they will say, "Oh, woe to us! What is this book that leaves nothing small or great, save that it has enumerated it?" And they will find what they did presented, and your Lord will not deal unjustly with anyone. And when we said to the angels, "Prostrate to Adam," so they prostrated, save Iblis. So they prostrated, save Iblis. He was of the jinn, and he rebelled, against the command of his Lord. Then will you take him and his offspring as protectors other than me, while they are enemies to you? Rest is the exchange for the wrongdoers. I did not make them witness the creation of the heavens and the earth, nor their own creation, and I am not to take the misleaders as helpers. And the day when you will say, call those whom you claimed to be my partners, then they will call them, but they will not respond to them, and we will make a barrier between them. And the criminals will see the fire, and will be certain that they are to fall in it, and they will not find them, and they will not find from it a way of escape. And certainly we have placed in this Quran every example for mankind, but man is in most things quarrelsome, and nothing prevents men from believing when guidance has come to them, and from asking forgiveness of their Lord, save that comes to them the way of the former pupil, or comes to them the punishment before them. And we did not send the messengers save as bearers of glad tidings, and as warners. And those who disbelieve dispute with falsehood to refute the truth thereby, and they take my verses and that of which they are warned in ridicule. And who is more wrong than he who is reminded of the verses of his Lord, but turns away from them, and forgets what his hands have sent forth? Indeed, we have placed coverings over their hearts, lest they understand it, and in their ears is deafness. And if you call them to guidance, then never they will be guided. And your Lord is the most forgiving, full of mercy. If you were to seize them for what they have earned, he would have hastened for them the punishment, but for them is an appointed time from which they will never find an escape. And those towns, we destroyed them when they wronged, and we made for their destruction an appointed time. And when Musa said to his boy, I will not cease until I reach the junction of the two seas, or continue for a long period. But when they reached the junction between them, they forgot their fish, and it took its course into the sea, slipping away. Then, when they had passed beyond it, he said to his boy, "Bring us our morning meal. Surely we have suffered fatigue in this journey." He said, "Did you see when we retired to the rock? Indeed, I forgot the fish, and none made me forget it save the shaitan, that I should mention it, and it took its course into the sea amazingly." He said, "This is what we were seeking." So they returned, retracting their footsteps. Then they found a servant from among our servants, to whom we had given mercy from us, and we had taught him knowledge from us. Musa said to him, "May I follow you on that you teach me from what you have been taught of right guidance?" Repeat. Musa said to him, "May I follow you on that you teach me from what you have been taught of right guidance?" He said, "Indeed, you will never be able to have patience with me. And how can you have patience for what you do not encompass in knowledge?" He said, "If Allah wills, you will find me patient, and I will not disobey your order. He said, "Then if you follow me, do not ask me about anything until I mention to you about it." So they both set out until when they had embarked on the ship, he made a hole in it. Repeat. So they set out until when they had embarked on the ship, he made a hole in it. He said, "Have you made a hole in it to drown its pupil? Surely you have done a great thing." He said, "Did I not say that you will never be able to have patience with me?" He said, "Do not blame me for what I forgot, and do not hard upon me in my affair, raising difficulties." Then they both set out until they met a boy. Then he killed him. He said, "Have you killed a pure soul for other than a soul? Surely you have done an evil thing." He said, "Did I not say you that you would never be able to have patience with me?" He said, "If I ask you about anything after this, then do not keep me as a companion. Surely you have received an excuse from me. So they set out until when they came to the people of a town. They asked its people for food, but they refused to offer them hospitality. Then they found therein a wall about to collapse. So he set it straight. He said, "If you wished, surely you could have taken a payment for it." He said, "This is parting between me and you. I will inform you of the interpretation of that about which you were unable to have patience. As for the sheep, it belonged to a poor people working at sea. So I intended to cause a defect in it, as there was a king pursuing them who seized every sheep by force. And as for the boy, his parents were believers, and we feared that he would overburden them by transgression and disbelief. So we intended that their Lord would send for them one better than him in purity and nearer. Repeat verse 81. So we intended that their Lord would send for them one better than him in purity and nearer. In affection, in purity and nearer in affection. And as for the wall, it belonged to 2 orphan boys in the town, and underneath it was a treasure for them, and their father had been righteous. So your Lord intended that they reach maturity and bring forth their treasure as a mercy from your Lord. And I did not do it on my own accord. That is the interpretation of that about which you were unable to have patience. And they ask you about Julkarnine. Say, I will recite to you a remembrance about him. Indeed, we established him on the earth, and we gave him means of access to everything. So he followed a course until when he reached the setting place of the sun, he found it setting in a spring of dark mud. And he found a community near it. We said, O Julkarnine, either you punish them or treat them with goodness. He said, As for the one who wrongs, soon we will punish him. Then he will be returned to his Lord, and he will punish him with a terrible punishment. But as for the one who believes and does righteous deeds, then he will have a good reward. And we will speak to him from our command with ease. Then he followed a course until when he reached the rising place of the sun, he found it as rising on a community for whom we had not made against it any shelter. Thus, and we had encompassed thus, and we had encompassed that he had of the information. Then he followed a course until when he reached between the two mountains, he found beside them a community. He found besides them a community who could hardly understand speech. They said, O Julkarnine, indeed Ya'juj and Ma'juj are corrupters in the land, so may we assign for you an expenditure that you might make a barrier between us and them? He said, that in which my Lord has established me is better, but assist me with strength. I will make between you and them a barrier. Bring me sheets of iron. Until when he had leveled between the two cliffs, he said, blow until when it had made it fire. Blow until when it had made it fire. He said, bring me molten copper to pour over it. So they were not able to scale it, nor were they able to penetrate it. He said, this is a mercy from my Lord, but when the promise of my Lord comes, he will make it level, and the promise of my Lord is true. And on the day we will leave them surging over each other, and the trumpet will be blown. Then we will gather them all together. And on the day we will present hell to the disbelievers on display. Those whose eyes had been within a cover from my remembrance, and they were unable to hear. Then do those who disbelieve think that they can take my servants as protectors besides me? Indeed, we have prepared hell for the disbelievers as a lodging. Repeat. Indeed, we have prepared hell for the disbelievers as a lodging. Say, shall we inform you of the greatest losers as to their deeds? Those whose effort is lost in the life of this world, while they think that they were acquiring good by their work. They are those who disbelieve in the verses of their Lord and in the meeting with Him, so their deeds are in vain, and we will not assign to them any weight on the day of resurrection. That is their recompense. Hell, because they disbelieved and took my verses and my messengers in ridicule. Indeed, those who believe and do righteous deeds, they will have gardens of paradise as a lodging. They will abide therein forever. They will not desire any transfer from it. Say, if the sea were ink for the words of my Lord, surely the sea would be exhausted before the words of my Lord were exhausted, even if we brought the like of it as a supplement. Subhanallah, I repeat the verse 109. Say, if the sea were ink for the words of my Lord, surely the sea would be exhausted before the words of my Lord were exhausted, even if we brought the like of it as a supplement. Say, I am only a man like you. It has been revealed to me that your obey is only one obey. So, whoever hopes for the meeting with his Lord, let him do righteous deeds and not associate anyone in the worship of his Lord.